Professor Victor here, and welcome to my dyslexic life. Today I want to talk about being constantly surprised by life. What exactly do I mean by that? Well, Becky and I were chatting the other day, and we were talking about how a situation had changed. So one of the people in my house had been away for 5 weeks, and they were coming back. And I'd said that during the 5 weeks, you know, the dynamics had just changed a bit, you know, just how different it had been. And, you know, Becky kind of said to me, but surely you knew that was going to change when they got back. Like, surely you'd thought about that. And I was like, no, because, you know, in my dyslexic mind, it's like I have the picture of that person being here, and then I have the picture of them not being there. And I don't really think about what it's going to be like going back into that situation. I don't know if that makes sense. You know, basically what I'm saying is, you know, when that person came back into the house and the dynamics changed, I was kind of surprised. And, you know, Becky was like, how can you be surprised by that? You know, surely you'd thought about that. And it was just really interesting. I was just like, no, you know, as a dyslexic, I just don't see that sequence, you know, and I don't think about things in that way. So we kind of came up with this catchphrase of being constantly surprised by life. And, you know, it applies to so many things. It's really funny when you start thinking about it that way, because, you know, we don't necessarily plan ahead, and, you know, because that takes the skills of time and sequence and prioritizing, which aren't our natural forte. So we tend to either be in the moment, or we're like way in the future, or we're way in the past. And I think that means we can constantly be surprised by life. It was just a really interesting little catchphrase. And once I became aware of it, oh my gosh, I saw it happening so many times. You know, we were developing an app for Truth About Dyslexia. And, you know, once again, we were talking in a meeting, and I think it was about, you know, how are we going to work out the communication with people that start using the app. And see, once again, I was like, well, I don't know. I just kind of thought about people using the app. I hadn't thought about all the details behind it. So once again, I was constantly surprised by the amount of extra planning that we had to put into it. It wasn't just as simple as being able to visualize someone using an app, which is what was going on in my brain. And I was getting very into how it looks and what are the pictures going to look like and what colors it's going to be, rather than actually planning out the detail of that. So yeah, my catchphrase is definitely constantly surprised by life. And it has some good things and some bad things, right? You know, one of the positives is you probably don't get so caught up, I guess, in the negatives or the details. But, you know, the other side is that we can get blindsided then sometimes, because we really just don't see things coming. So it was such an interesting revelation, and yeah, Becky and I have been using it quite a lot. You know, another little example would be thinking about, I ordered some clothes online and they turned up. And it's kind of thinking through the process that actually if I order them online and they're not the right size, then actually I'm going to have to go to the post office. Well, first of all, I'm going to have to find something to package them up. Then I'm going to have to go to the post office, and I'm going to have to like pay for them to be returned. Whereas you see, I don't see any of that. I kind of just see the clothes arriving and them fitting. And constantly surprised is like, oh, they don't fit. Oh, you mean I've got to go and do all of these extra things now, which I just hadn't even thought about. So I don't know if you can relate to this. I think it's a very dyslexic thing. And yeah, I'd be interested to hear whether you think you're constantly surprised by life, or whether, you know, that isn't what happens for you. Hope you have a great day wherever you are, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.
you.